Hello everyone, my name is Josie and you are listening to the Yoga Local podcast. Thank you for joining. Today I wanted to ask if you have ever experienced decision fatigue. So this seems to go with the territory for me, and I don't know whether or not it's because I'm a business owner, I have an entrepreneurial mind, or whether it's just because I'm just generally creative and have been in all walks of my life. I get a real kick out of coming up with ideas and seeing what's possible, which is all great, but then it's not so great when you have all these ideas and have all these choices to make, and you become paralyzed by them. Analysis paralysis they call it. So I don't know if you can relate to that. I don't think it necessarily is just a thing for entrepreneurs, business owners, and people with creative minds, by the way, because I think most of us who are living on this planet have millions of choices to make, and we can always be questioning, doubting, worrying whether or not we're making the right choice. What yoga offers is a teaching called spontaneous right action, which can help us guide us into those choices with a little bit more authenticity and a little bit more integrity. So instead of kind of trying to grasp for external validation and looking for other people to steer us into making this choice or that choice, what if we can come from a really soul aligned space that knows that regardless of consequence, this choice is the right choice. Now, I know from my own life experience that this happens. It's happened for me when I've been in a situation where it maybe doesn't make a lot of sense to everyone else, but from somewhere very deep within, consciously, I'm aware that this is the right choice to make. And sometimes that can, be harsh on those around you. And again, it might not make sense to other people, but from the deep core of who you are, it's the right course of action. And the Hatha yogis would call that having access to Kriya Shakti, the access to spontaneous right action. So let's just wind back a little bit, and I will just decode some of what this means. So the tantric Hatha yogis first of all would kind of refer to spontaneity as this ability to act freely, act from a place of authenticity, without those constraints of conditioned thinking, patterning, external influences. They would invite us to look to allow life to unfold in a more natural way and respond to it more from a moment of freshness and openness. So this can, trip some people up. Don't get trippy with the teachings, as one of my teachers loves to say. This is not about becoming reckless and going, well, the universe will take care of the details. I just have to kind of go along for the ride. It's not that. It's more about being in tune with the flow of nature, being one with nature, and allowing actions to arise spontaneously from that space of inner alignment, rather than from constriction and doubt and worry and fear, which kind of blocks the energy. And then right action, which is a central tenet of this tradition and other traditions, which is referred to as Dharma. This is all about making those actions in harmony. In harmony with what? Well, in harmony with our own purpose, our own dharmically aligned sense of purpose. The reason why that we're here on a bigger level. So it's not just about whether your decisions are are right because they're morally right or ethically right. In tantric philosophy, Dharma is not about rigid rules or subscribing to external prescriptions, but it's rather on that deep and intuitive understanding of what is appropriate for this moment, what is appropriate to the life situation that you're in, any given situation. How can we lean into that situation and come to it with a deep sense of knowing what's right in that moment. And this demands from us quite a lot. We need a good dollop of discernment. We need a good dollop of self-awareness. But ultimately, what we're aligning with is something that is divinely directed, not directed by ourselves. It's divinely directed. Tantric Hatha teaches that we're all an expression of the divine. We're all from nature, born of nature. And therefore, spontaneous right action isn't about, meeting our own personal goals and necessarily. It's more about aligning with the greater purpose. And, we all have a purpose within that. So if we're aligned with that individual reason for being here, then we're aligning with that bigger reason for being here, and then all our actions are, as a result, correct. They are right. It's a big one to work with, as I said, because it's acting more from a place of surrender rather than acting from a place of intellect and mind knowledge, things that we've learned. This is about things that we know from a soul level. And I get it. It's not something that we're it's not been a prized possession. I feel like from a very young age I've been more led by my feelings. I've liked to be driven more by my feelings, but it's kind of been not supported in a number of ways by a number of people and influencers in my life, right? Feelings are not a pure science, and people like to trust in a pure science. But these are the skills, these are the innate qualities, learning to be intuitive, learning to sense into a situation so that you have that real visceral, gut-wrenching, this is right, regardless of circumstance, this is right. These are real skills that, we have learnt to mistrust or to doubt the value of. And yoga is a practice that is going to help bring you back to them and trust in them and learn from them. And know, not all your choices are going to be, from now on, here on in, the right choices. And, there's a reason for that. Like, first of all, we have to build the muscle that allows us to get present, to understand the moment more in its natural way and let it unfold without resisting. That's something that we have to practice over time. And because of that, yeah, for sure, we're gonna misstep, we're gonna, get led off course. Our intuition is, sometimes gonna lead us down a garden path. And what the tradition would say to that is, well, great, right? Let it do that. Don't get hung up on the mistakes that you made. In fact, learn from those mistakes. Let's grow from those mistakes. That's how we evolve. And then we get a little bit more conscious and we get a little bit more evolved. We see things from a different level of perception. And then our next choices become more and more aligned, and it's a growth pattern that we experience over time. It's something we have to practice. Again, it's consistency of practice. It's coming back to these teachings again and again. It's being reminded of them, so that we can then remember what it feels to be deeply led by something more soul driven than it is by what's out there. I know where, I really want to come from. But it's so easy to get distracted. So that's why we practice to remove those distractions, to remove those conditioned patterns, to let go of those external validations and start to realign ourselves to something that is more soul driven. And that's your practice. So it doesn't require too much to get into these practices. Yes, we would love you to all kind of come knocking on this door and sign up to a beginner's yoga practice and start that journey. And it will be this journey towards, bouncing around in between at times, making some steps forward, making some steps back. But ultimately, this is a system here that will move you from where you are to where you want to be sustainably, lovingly, and in a way that you can guarantee results over time. But for now, if you want to have a go at practicing this art of spontaneous right action, there's a few things that you can do. I've put together a few practical ways to do that in the blog that accompanies this. So first of all, set intentions. Start each day with a clear intention of who you want to show up. We start to feed into or start to remember who we really are and what our innate qualities are. When we've kind of completely unpacked ourselves, right, of all the traumas and all the experiences, who are we from that deep level? And if that's a struggle, then maybe just look to, well, who would we be if we were our most optimum? What qualities would we express? How would we go about our lives? How would we want to impact others? Right, that can start you on this path to remembering you're a part of something that's divine, right? Nature. You are part of nature. To be exalted, as I've got the lilacs coming out right now and they smell amazing, right? And they're only going to be here for a few minutes, but their purpose right now is to be exalted. And can you tap into yourself as an individual expression, a particular bloom that's coming to fruition in life right now, and let's celebrate that. And then listen to your inner wisdom. Try and start to quiet the noise of the world outside. Obviously, a way to do that is through traditional yoga practice, taking you through asana, posture work, pranayama, and other techniques which lead us towards a state of yoga through meditation. Again, it's a process, and we've got all the tools that you need if you want to come and explore that. But first of all, maybe just get quiet, make some time to be still. It's going to be difficult. Let me just caveat that. It will be difficult for you if your life is busy. I love these kind of tips, but seriously, if you're going to come and sit down after having, an argument with your kids, or you've kind of raced back from work and you've been cut up in traffic, it's going to be so hard to get to that place of stillness, which is why we have practices to lead us into that space, right? So, consider that. Consider it takes practice, consider it takes time. But yes, sit down, be more still, notice how busy your mind is, and let's see how we can work to create an environment which is a little bit more settled. And then when we're in that settled space, then our attention can then maybe start to unreactively, if that's a word, look at what's coming and going, look at the thoughts and emotions that are coming, ebbing and flowing in that kind of quiet space, without becoming triggered by them, or emotionally charged or agitated or frustrated by them. Being able to start to look at the flow of these kind of comings and goings of the mind is a really, really key skill to then not getting attached to them and not getting worked up by them. and then that allows us to kind of be more perceptive, be more intuitive, and start to find that integrity and authenticity that is deep within us when our minds are calm and when our systems are fully balanced. Then then this stuff becomes effortless and easy. It will come in moments when people are looking, and it will come in moments when people aren't looking. It's not about that. And then finally, something I spoke to earlier, let's embrace imperfection. This is a journey towards the self, through the self. Things will come up, things will throw us off track. It's part of the deal. It's how we learn and grow. But every time we make a small win towards embracing our authentic self, remembering that we're deeply connected to something that's way bigger than we can ever imagine or fathom. And if we start to align from that part of who we are, then we can trust in the rest, and that it will be taken care of in a way that is serving the whole. So yeah, then every situation, every choice is an opportunity of growth, and you can let go of the worry of making those choices. So I hope that is something that has been useful and you found interesting. As always, I would love to extend this conversation in any way, wherever you're accessing this from. Reply, comment, send an email. So many ways to get in contact with us. Just choose one, send it to me, and yeah, I'd love to hear more about what you think on this subject. And even more, I would love to either see you in class here, where these are the conversations that we're having and enjoying and allowing ourselves to grow into all the time. You can access classes in person if you're lucky enough to be local to us. If not, that's not a problem either, because we have everything on demand, online, live streaming, as well as classes on our app. So many ways to keep this conversation going, and I'd love to see you in any of those spaces. So that's all for now, and I'll catch up with you next time. Bye for now.